the Mountain White sect now has no one who can use it anymore. I don't care about other people, I just want to treat Master Wang Gan well. No matter what, I can't leave this matter alone. Thinking for a moment, he said to Tang Jian-1. If so, please let me participate in this martial arts competition. Tang Jian-1 smiled, people's hearts are very appreciated. The next day, Sowol and Tang Jian-1 did it again meeting. Tang Jian-1 said to Sowol, I have good news to tell you. The other person felt that 1,000 years was a bit too much, so he changed it to 500 years. Sowol shook his head. I seeing that 500 years is very long. Tang Jian-1 sighed, you are an outer sect disciple. Logically there is no need to get caught up in this matter. When the martial arts competition, both sides will bring 10 people to fight. Once the Iron Rock sect loses, they will definitely send the Yang Luangqi warrior to counterattack. It's a pity that a year ago we lost all our experts. With the current situation of the sect, it is very difficult to find 10 knights with a cultivation level above the middle stage to go out to fight. Sowol clasped his hands and seriously replied, I will try my best. That's right, I saw that the sect suddenly became very quiet. Where did everyone go? Tang Jian-1 sighed. The previous time with the Iron Rock sect, many people were injured, they were all sent for treatment. Sowol heard this and his face became surprised. Many people were injured. Star? So where is Ak Yo-min? Sowol then went to visit Ak Yo-min. She was extremely injured and was still in a coma and needed someone to take care of her. The disciple behind her explained that senior sister Yo-min had been seriously injured in the accident. Last martial arts competition. Sowol nodded, so how is it now? The other person bowed his head and sighed. She suffered serious internal injuries and almost lost her life. Sowol looked at the woman on the bed and silently sighed. She had almost completely exhausted all of her potential in battle. At the edge of the forest, she needed to rest for a while to recover. It was likely that she hid it from everyone and stubbornly participated in the martial arts competition. I didn't expect so many people to be injured. After a while, Sowol turned to the other person and asked, how is all of this done by the evil people, the Iron Rock sect? The other person replied angrily, that's right, they constantly challenged us and caused friction with us. It was truly lawless. They even used many unreasonable demands for the competition. It was truly outrageous. Unfortunately, senior sister Yo-min used her status as a late-stage Chinese warrior to participate in the martial arts competition, but the opponent sent a heroic warrior to fight. After listening to the opponent's explanation, when Sowol told him, I understand, please help me prepare some spiritual herbs. I'll go to the alchemy room. Sowol then went to the alchemy room. He secretly sighed in his heart. Fortunately, my identity as Duong Quang Ky has not yet been discovered by anyone. If discovered, it will definitely cause a lot of unnecessary trouble, unless the other party is Dean Van Ky, otherwise surely no one can find out. Now I need to refine a lot of medicinal pills. Try using true fire samadhi to refine it. Sowol immediately brought it to share with everyone in Yo-min. I don't know how long it has been since Yo-min has begun to sense changes outside. In her ears, the calls of Sowol, Miss Yo-min, Miss Yo-min. Yo are constantly ringing. Min sat up in surprise. Uncle Sowol. Sowol saw her awake and smiled. Are you awake? I didn't expect that so many things would happen while I wasn't in the Mountain White sect. This is the 9-leaf wound healing pill, you should eat it quickly. Although it's not as valuable as the elixir of purity, it doesn't have the ability to cure internal injuries either. I'm not picky. The other brothers have all used it, so you should use it quickly. Yo-min looked at the medicine in his hand sadly and nodded, thank you, uncle. Sowol immediately saw her like that. Comfort. In fact, you have tried your best. It's been hard for you. Yo-min bowed her head and tears flowed uncontrollably. In her heart she silently blamed herself, her physical condition. My body was not in an ideal state before. After losing a martial arts competition, I always felt embarrassed towards my master and other monks. Unexpectedly, my uncle did not blame me, on the contrary. Even comforted my company Vu. This really touched me very much, combined with Uncle Sowol's medicine that helped me break through to the later stage of Thien Tai. I definitely cannot disappoint your love. Uncle towards him, Sowol saw her determined look and widened his eyes, not understanding anything. Sowol reached into his shirt to get something, then pulled out a wooden box. Every time you meet someone who isn't injured here, he's injured somewhere else. This box contains a few healing pills. Whenever you're injured, remember to take it out and use it. Yo Min received it. I took the wooden box and hugged it tightly inside, thinking to myself, my uncle's kindness to me is as important as a mountain. How should I repay him? Really, thank you very much, Sowol uncle. A few days later, at the top of the flying tent, this is where the martial arts competition between the Mountain White sect and the Iron Rock sect took place. The disciple of the Mountain White sect at this time were all gathered under the stage. Sowol, representing Mountain White sect, was now standing proudly on the stage. He glanced at Tang Jian-won next to him and sighed. It seemed like everyone was very tense. Tang Jian-won nodded in agreement. That's right, after all, today's martial arts match will decide everyone's fate. Everyone hopes that Mountain White sect can win. If they really fail and are defrocked. After 500 years, the biggest loss is the disciples. Sowol said harshly, it's really nonsense. Tang Jian-won nodded and sighed, I see the same. He looked outside. The door was a bit angry. It seemed the Iron Rock sect was late again. It was really too arrogant. An elder next to him continued smiling. It would be better for everyone not to come. Everybody. Sowol's claws pondered. The situation doesn't seem to be that simple. The Yaman's doctors have not yet arrived. Looking at this situation, I'm afraid the Iron Rock sect and the Yaman's doctors will come together. I heard that the Iron Rock sect has many unique techniques. I really want to see their skills. I heard that the Iron Rock sect's rules are also extremely comfortable. You can freely do to entering and exiting the sect. Tang Jian-won nodded. That's right. Official disciples of the Mountain White sect can leave the sect after breaking the Nay pill. But the Iron Rock sect puts their interests first. Disciples can freely enter and exit, attracting a large number of experts pursuing fame and fortune. Sowol nodded. Is a gang for profit? It's true that it's a bit interesting. Tang Jian-won sighed. This is the reason why they keep trying to get stronger. At this moment, someone shouted loudly down below, they're coming. Yaman's people are indeed coming with the Iron Rock sect. Tang Jian-won's eyebrows furrowed. It seems that Yaman wants to stand on the same side as the Iron Rock sect. He quickly walked forward. In front, as he walked, he ordered Sowol, you stay here and watch. Pay attention to every move of the sect. Sowol did not have any opinion and immediately nodded. Okay, master, be careful. Tang Jian-won quickly went to the two leaders of the sect and the head of the Iron Rock sect. Thank you, sir, for coming to observe the martial arts competition. I hope you maintain justice and judge fairly. That middle-aged man smiled. You worry too much. The government always puts fairness first. I emphasize the rules of martial arts competition again. Only 10 knights on the list can advance. Martial arts competition stage. In addition, martial arts competition is about taking turns fighting. Only when a winner can be determined can one change the other person to fight. That is to say, one person can even deal with the entire enemy. Tang Jian-won's eyebrows furrowed as he thought, this rule is extremely unfavorable for our side. I'm afraid even if we are lucky enough to win a few matches, it won't be of any use, because the opponent has a powerful warrior to oppress us. Sowol from beginning to end stood slowly to the side, observing without showing any emotion. Yo Min was in the stands looking at his back and thinking, Uncle Sowol. People who are outer sect disciples have absolutely no need to participate in martial arts competitions, so why would they risk their lives like that? After discussing and negotiating the rules, the martial arts competition immediately began. As soon as the disciples of the Mountain White sect got on stage, they were brutally beaten by people from the Iron Rock sect. Tang Jian-won below angrily shouted, those bastards! The Iron Rock sect did not expect to attack so strongly. That disciple who just lost the battle was indescribably resentful, and his people Nha Mon is really too much. Seeing the Iron Rock sect make such a heavy attack, he didn't say stop. There wasn't even a warning. The other side was the Yang Quan Ky warrior. Stopping here is okay, why don't you stop? I really can't watch anymore. Tang Jian-won angrily thought to himself, if this continues like this, even the face of the Iron Rock sect's Duang Quan Ky will be lost before we even have time to look at it. Besides me, there are only 2 monks with cultivation levels above the middle stage. Should we continue to fight with all our strength or should we stop? What should we do in the end? At this moment, an elder stood up. The leader of all people let me go up this time. The magician of the Iron Rock sect on the stage sneered coldly. What a bunch of chickens, the next person who is following. Hurry up. As soon as he finished speaking, someone came up from below. I'm Mountain White Sect Yu Jungyo. The fat guy smiled and replied, I'm Mok Hanwi of the Iron Rock sect. Not Mountain White sect. Is there no talent? Why is the next person weaker than the previous one? What a shame, this sect is ranked according to strength. I am considered the last one. The person behind is much stronger than me. You better prepare yourself. Today I will keep some. I'll give you guys face. After defeating you and the sect leader I'll stop. The rest will let others fight. The dozen of you can't beat the 3 of us and it'll be too miserable, haha. Yu Jungyo slowly, his face did not answer. He quickly took out his magic weapon. For the honor and survival of his master, he had to risk it. It seems that in the next battles he can only hope for Unso. Thinking for a moment, he took the lead and rushed forward, taking the initiative to attack first. Mok Hanwi saw the other side flying with spears, but he still calmly stood there with his hands clasped, still not making any move. But when Yu Jungyo hit him in front of him, his eyes widened. The opponent suddenly disappeared right in front of his spear. While he didn't understand where the opponent went, Mok Hanwi appeared. Jumped down from the air and attack. He waved his hand and pointed at Yu Jungyo's back to attack. Yu Jungyo had no time to dodge at all. Just like that, the opponent attacked his back. After a while, he was behind him, already covered in injuries. He angrily turned his head towards the other person and shouted, Damn, do you think martial arts is a game? Fight properly for me. Mok Hanwi smiled. Are you saying I'm not focused on fighting? If that's the case, I'll complete it for you. Yu Jungyo switched to the light screen to protect her spiritual energy, gritted her teeth and wanted to fend off the opponent's attack. Mok Hanwi pointed out a finger again. This time the attack was effective. Much stronger than before. This time there was defense, so Yu Jungyo was able to block his attack. Next, he swung his spear to stimulate the attack to fight back. But his attack hit Mok Hanwi in front of him, but the opponent disappeared at extremely fast speed. Disappeared again. Damn, it was impossible to see his movements. Mok Hanwi flew behind him. Yu Jungyo then once again stimulated the attack and pointed out a single attack. Yu Jungyo's protective spiritual light screen quickly became unbearable. Countless cracks appeared. Continuously being attacked, the opponent's consciousness hit his body, but he still gritted his teeth and endured it, determined not to give up. When the Mountain White sect disciples saw this scene, everyone was extremely tense and cold sweat poured out like rain. Attacking for a while, Mok Hanwi finally stopped. Yu Jungyo was still trying to hold on to the spear to stay on the stage. Mok Hanwi smiled sarcastically. Don't fall down so quickly. People representing the Mountain White sect in battle, hehe. Unso silently pondered below the stage. That's too cruel. Yu Jungyo is about to go bad, but he has no intention of stopping the fight. It seems the Iron Rock sect was about to cruelly use its momentum to suppress the Mountain White sect. Although Yu Jungyo was very resilient, he was really seriously injured. Soon he was unable to do anything. Couldn't hold on any longer. Helplessly collapsed on the stage. The referee's voice then rang out. The winner was Mok Hanwi of the Iron Rock sect. This time reminding Mok Hanwi, if you continue to act cruelly and if you compete in martial arts, I will cancel your eligibility to participate. Mok Hanwi doesn't care much and laughs, I know. Unso below was about to go on stage when suddenly Tang Jaeon-won came over and patted him. His shoulder advised, if you can't stop it, don't be reluctant to fight like Yu Jungyo. If you should give up, then give up. Unso smiled and nodded, I understand. After you finished speaking, you immediately quickly went up to the stage. Mok Hanwi smiled sarcastically. Why are you making such an unpleasant face? What, seeing your fellow student being injured by me makes you very angry? Unso calmly replied, no, I was just thinking about how to deal with you. When Mok Hanwi heard that, his face became extremely angry. Then he immediately condensed. Spiritual power, how to deal with me? Did you just say you want to deal with me? I was just about to fight you with the sect leader and then go to rest, but I didn't expect you to say such wild words. It seems I have to take back what I said earlier. I have to show you how powerful I am, making your suffering 100 times more than Yuk Junyo. Seeing Sowol just standing there with no intention of taking action, he asked suspiciously, "What are you doing? Why don't you fight?" Sowol replied calmly, "You go first." Mok Hanwi laughed angrily, "Haha, very good, even if you want to cry later, you won't be able to, kid." After saying that, he then showed off his body. The method of running around Sowol, letting you admire my ability to transfer and divide images, slowly tease you until you suffer enough pain, and then kill you later. As he moved, he waved his hand. Sowol's attack point. But with this one point of his, Sowol only retreated slightly and completely avoided it. Mok Hanwi was extremely surprised. What? Could it be a coincidence? He then continued to point and attack Sowol. But Sowol still calmly stood there. His attack was completely unable to hit him. Mok Hanwi couldn't help but scream. "The name, how did you avoid this obnoxious brat? Or did you use some despicable trick?" Sowol spoke coldly. "Your tricks have been used up, right?" Having finished speaking, facing the other person's frightened eyes, he immediately appeared behind him. Mok Hanwi did not have time to react, so Sowol gave him a punch straight on his back. This punch contained extremely terrifying force. Mok Hanwi was directly beaten until his mouth spewed blood and he lost the ability to fight. Tang Jaeon below was also shocked by this scene. What is going on here? Sowol, what kind of god are you? Sowol looked at Mok Hanwi lying helplessly on the ground. His face was still cold and emotionless. After a while Mok Hanwi tried to tremblingly raise his hand to admit defeat. But Sowol didn't give him that chance and immediately raised his hand to the mirror. Spiritual energy. A field of force slapped directly on his chest. Mok Hanwi did not have time to admit defeat and took this move again, screaming in pain extremely pitifully. The referee saw this and shouted loudly. The winner and loser were determined. I quickly stopped, but it was too late. Sowol had already finished his attack. The referee walked over to observe Mok Hanwi's body and thought, what kind of cold air is this? The late track and period was suppressed like this by the mid-stage track and period. With such serious internal injuries, it would probably take several years of rest to recover. After observing for a moment, he stood up. Loudly, the winner is Sowol of Mountain White Sect, but the person who acted was a bit cruel. Please pay more attention next time. If this continues next time, I will cancel your eligibility to compete. Clearly? Sowol smiled and nodded. I understand. Tang Jaeon exclaimed from the stage. Sowol's strength is really unusual. I only heard that he is very good, but I have never seen him. I've never seen him with my own eyes. Today I really didn't expect him to be so good. Yo Min was also surprised in her heart. Her uncle was so powerful. It would be great if I could be just a little bit stronger than him. If I could also defeat him like Sowol. It would be nice to have such a cool opponent. I really want to get stronger. I also want to become a strong person. I must definitely follow in my uncle's footsteps. I have to work hard. Only by cultivating early will one be able to break through the cultivation base. There are stronger enemies behind. I only hope that Uncle Sowol won't force himself too much. After continuously defeating many magicians of the Iron Rock sect, Sowol then glanced at the distance and thought, the Iron Rock sect only has the Duong Quang Ky. Just as he thought, very quickly the Iron Rock sect's Duong Quang Ky appeared on stage. Mr. I looked at Sowol and exclaimed, I thought it wasn't my turn to go to war. What a surprise. I serve Ma Jae-ju of the Iron Rock sect. Sowol smiled politely and clasped his hands. I am an outer disciple of Mountain White sect Sowol. I still hope that my senior will give me more instructions. Ma Jae-ju smiled, being polite. I have no intention of going on stage today. Logically speaking of which, maybe it's not my turn to fight, but you surprised everyone here. But it's a pity that no matter how talented you are, you can't change the fate of the world. Mountain White sect. Sowol smiled. That's why I have to give my all. Ma Jae-ju laughed loudly. Haha, the young man is still a young man. His thinking is really stupid poetry that only those who are aware of the times are talented. After being sealed off, you were unable to function for 500 years. Isn't that a pity for elite soldiers like you? If you come to the Iron Rock sect, we will value you and ensure you have abundant resources. Can I introduce you to you if you want to join? Unso smiled and thanked the seniors for their good intentions, but the Mountain White sect means a lot to me, so I can't disappoint them. If I win today's martial arts match, then it seems that you have already repaid the favor to Mountain White sect. Only then can you consider senior's proposal. How do you feel, senior? Ma Jae-ju laughed loudly. Haha, do you really want to slap him? You want me to try to wake up and lose, right? Although this idea is very good, I cannot lose face in front of so many people because of accepting disciples. I also want to save my own face. Unso explained. Senior misunderstood, then I absolutely did not mean this. I just thought that I would win, so I had the audacity to give such an opinion. Ma Jae-ju's face was full of doubts. Did he win? Okay, it seems like you're still young and immature and don't understand that I don't accept you, but if that's the case, then I have to teach you a lesson. Unso looked serious, then please the senior gave instructions. Next, he took out his 3 long swords. The senior apologized for the junior's offense. Ma Jae-ju laughed with interest. The interesting initial move was fray bullets are fired with condensed spiritual energy. This move is so simple that it really makes me feel very bored. I didn't expect that you could also use a sword. Because it was to fight me, you kept it hidden from the beginning until the end. Exposed, right? Unso nodded. That's right. The treasure in the box cannot be easily taken out. If I let you see all the trump cards, then I have no way to play. Ma Jae-ju reached out to take it down, the magic weapon behind you. Is that so? It turns out that right from the start, you were already preparing everything to fight me. If that's the case, then don't blame me for being heartless. Wake up, kid. Having finished speaking, he tightly grasped his 2 great axes and headed towards Sowol rushed forward. Sowol did not dodge but instead used a spell to rush forward to dry blood. Ma Jae-ju saw him rush forward and immediately threw out the 2 great axes in his hand. Sowol fought the protective spiritual light curtain, jumped up to dodge and thought to himself, I have continuously defeated 6 heroic warriors. If I continue to attack now, the opponent will see his cultivation level, so I will temporarily dodge first. Later, Ma Jae-ju saw that Sowol did not dare to directly block his attack and laughed coldly. Then, he once again summoned the magic weapon to chase him. On the 2 great axes, 2 illusory images suddenly appeared. As soon as they appeared, they simultaneously mobilized spiritual energy to attack Sowol. Sowol's reaction speed was not slow. As soon as they took action, he jumped up to avoid it again. Ma Jae-ju below laughed loudly. Even if you use speed to defeat Mach Hanwi, it won't work. What's the use? You and I are completely not on the same level. Sowol took out a few spell cards to start casting, but it's impossible to get in the way. Then he threw the spell at Ma Jae-ju and started counterattack. Ma Jae-ju saw this and laughed out loud in contempt. Haha, are you trying to disturb my vision? But unfortunately it won't work. The dust just dispersed 3 times. Sowol's long sword struck in front of him. Ma Jae-ju coldly waved his hand to mobilize spiritual energy. Don't try to defeat me like this. Sowol's 3 long swords were immediately blocked. His spiritual light blocked it. But the unexpected happened. Above the long sword, a cold aura radiated out, penetrating Ma Jae-ju's spiritual light. When he saw that, his face couldn't help but wrinkle. What kind of trick is this? We have never seen Qigong like this before. Sowol took this opportunity to fly behind him, then waved his hand again and threw a few magical bullets to attack him. Even though there was a protective spiritual light screen, this time Ma Jae-ju still being beaten by Sowol, he had a hard time. His eyebrows were furrowed and cold sweat began to form on his forehead. This coldness was too strange, he felt like he couldn't fight normally. If that's the case, then I have to concentrate all my spiritual energy to attack him at once. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth and activated the spiritual energy of 2 magical weapons that were also called back to his side. Sowol in the distance, he did not miss the opportunity to continue to urge the long sword to attack. The protective aura light screen had disappeared, the opportunity had come. The long sword quickly disappeared into the fog. Ma Jae-ju kept dodging the sudden attack from the long sword, filled with fear. What was this again? Damn it, the fog contains a huge amount of cold energy. I'm afraid I won't be able to use my spiritual energy if I continue like this. Not to mention my spiritual energy will be blocked, even my magic weapon. It can't be used anymore. No, maybe there is still a chance. As long as the fog clears, there will be hope. Thinking for a moment, he regained his composure and shouted, "It's just a cloud. Even though you're just a little kid, you still want to defeat me?" Unso laughed coldly. Is that so? You can't defeat someone with blind bones, but at this point victory or defeat has probably already been decided. When Ma Jae-ju heard that, his eyes immediately widened, and a cold feeling immediately appeared in his heart. Rushed straight up to the top of his head. The fog dissipated, not knowing when Unso Wol's 3 long swords had separately surrounded him. If Unso Wol wanted to kill him, all he needed was a thought. Ma Jae-ju had no choice but to stand motionless and curse in place. Damn, it's really hateful. The Mountain White sect people below were now so excited that they couldn't hold back. Tears. The referee quickly announced loudly. The Iron Rock sect and the Mountain White sect. The winner is Unso Wol of the Mountain White sect. The news was quickly spread, inside Bao Xin sect. After hearing his subordinate's report, Xiao Bing could not suppress his surprise. Is there really such a thing? Young Master Unso Wol has really attracted my attention. Whatever he does makes me extremely surprised. It seems I have to take the time to act. I will give him a proposal that made him extremely excited, making it impossible for him to refuse. Switching back to the top of the airport, the referee's voice kept echoing. The guy was Unso Wol of Mountain White sect. This matter will be arbitrated by the sect. According to the contract, the Iron Rock sect must be closed for 500 years from now on. If this sect is discovered to be acting outside, it will be sent to Yamen in Yan'an Department, even had to endure the judgment of Yamen in Yueyang Province. Ma Jae-ju walked to Unso Wol's side and applauded. Your strength really makes others surprised. I finally know why you hid your strength in the previous battles. Your attack also makes people very surprised. If we fight again, I will definitely win. But the martial arts competition is over. I admit defeat. I congratulate you, little guy. Unso Wol smiled and clasped his hands. Thank you for the praise of the seniors. Ma Jae-ju happily turned around and left. Win to be the king, lose to be the enemy. We have nothing left to say, let's go. Unso Wol watched the group of the Iron Rock sect leave and it was time to exhale. Below was the sound of the crowd cheering. At this time, Mountain White sect members also spread the word. A few days later, Unso Wol just came out from the sect leader's place. Suddenly Yo Min's voice rang in her ears. She was attracted to him. I rushed over excitedly. My uncle heard that you have become an honorary elder of the sect. Congratulations. The Mountain White sect has never had an honorary elder of middle stage before. It's true that you're so talented. Unso Wol nodded. Yes, but it seems like you're always waiting for me. Is there something wrong? Yo Min replied, well, you have become an elder, your place of residence should also be changed. I have arranged Elder Sok's place to be your new residence, please come with me. Said after that, she immediately flew up to lead the way. Next to Sowon Peaks there is a place called Chungyo Mountains. This is the residence of the elders. It is the place with extremely abundant spiritual energy inside the Mountain White sect. There are even spiritual herbs growing. This good place is spacious and extremely pure. After leading Unso Wol to the new place, Yo Min explained for a moment and then left. If there was no more work to do. If anything else, I'll leave first. Unso Wol nodded. Okay, I'm sorry. Waiting for Yo Min to leave, Unso Wol looked at the room in front of him and silently thought, I have to take this opportunity to seize the time to deal with the silver armor and shoulder armor that Mu Jangyang damaged. I still have it in my hands. High demon armor and 7 silver scaled snake. I seem to have enough ingredients. During this time, rumors about Unso Wol have been spread throughout the Mountain White sect. Without you. Who doesn't know that here there is a warrior of the middle stage who has defeated 7 knights of the late stage and a warrior of the Yang Luong period of the Iron Rock sect? This news will soon spread throughout Yan'an. Everyone will take it as an exaggeration, but after this has been confirmed, in the blink of an eye it will definitely shock the entire Yan'an department. Sometime later on a beautiful day, Unso will at the end of practice, sit in the room and draw talismans. Everything has been handled, now you should start using brushes made from the fur of demonic beasts to draw spirit talismans, thereby improving your ability to create talismans. Create your own spiritual talisman to the highest possible level. Only by raising the level of training can you have the ability to create magical talismans that can exert the same power as magic talismans with unlimited power. At this moment, someone outside came to report that the uncle had a guest coming to visit him. Sowol's face was full of doubts. Who would it be? Is it senior sister Mok Yom or Taoist Guang-o? He quickly went to open the door to ask, who is it? Yo Min smiled and replied, she is an extremely famous figure in Yan'an. Sowol heard that and exclaimed in surprise, probably no famous person will come to find me, who will it be? Yo Min nodded, I was really surprised. The deputy head of Bao Shin sect's waging cell personally came to find someone. Sowol heard that, he was startled and secretly sighed, I knew we would see you soon, but I didn't expect her to personally come here. What game does she want to play this time? Soon Xiao Bing was invited in. As soon as she entered, she warmly congratulated him. I heard that you have become an honorary elder of the Mountain White sect. I truly congratulate you. The accommodation is also good. You've been promoted, this is really something to be happy about. After all, you have made a great achievement in the martial arts match with the Iron Rock sect. Sowol sighed, thank you for your praise. Vice Captain Sir coming to visit in person really makes me feel scared. Xiao Bing smiled, you are the famous character who defeated the warrior Yang Quan Ky. Of course I came to congratulate you. First after I gave you the news about the 7 silver-scaled snake, there was no more news about you. Later, I heard that you had become an honorary elder famous throughout the Yan'an ministry. I was really happy. Happy for you. Sowol frowned and asked seriously, is that so? So this time you came here in person for something? Xiao Bing also became serious again. Okay, let's talk about the main thing. I have something to ask you, sir. This problem made me think for a long time but still can't understand it, even if I use this method. New or cool cold skills that surprise others, this is not something a middle-aged warrior can do. Sowol calmly replied, believe it or not that's your business. Xiao Bing shook his head, this is completely impossible. As far as I can see, Mr. Sowol is definitely hiding his strength. Besides me, there are many people who are also skeptical. Sowol doesn't want to explain too much and sighs. Whatever you think, can we talk now? Xiao Bing nodded. Okay, from then on the Iron Rock sect will definitely disappear. The alchemists in this area all go there. I thought a lot about this. Now it's okay, then there's no need to think too much. After the Iron Rock sect disbands, there will appear many wandering wizards without sects or sects. This is very beneficial for recruiting wizards of the branch. Thank you sir for blessing us. We finally have the chance to do something interesting. Sowol doubt, something interesting? Xiao Bing explained, in Zheng Province Station there is an area dense with spiritual energy. This is one of the few places in Daewon Nation that is not controlled by any force. Most of the areas with dense spiritual energy are controlled by certain powerful forces. In addition to the place I just mentioned, that place is the poisonous swamp. As the name suggests, there is deadly poison everywhere. It is filled with grass poison and insects also use poison as weapons, but because of this, no one here cares about it. So there are countless spiritual stones, spiritual herbs and demonic beasts here. Is what creates the attraction of poisonous swamp. That's why in recent years there have been many healers who have often visited this place, but no one has returned alive. Sowol suddenly woke up. So you intentionally told me the location of the 7 silver-scaled snake to test my poison resistance ability? Xiao Bing nodded. Young master is not wrong in thinking like that. Recently I have been interested in poisonous swamp, because the story of a certain witch coming back alive attracted me, Sowol added. What is the story of doubt? Xiao Bing quickly explained. I heard that poisonous swamp is the residence of a special group of people. The members of this group are about 100 people, they wear strange clothes, and use the magic that they use. Their performance is equally strange. I also heard that these people have countless rare treasures in their hands, so I originally intended to call people into the poisonous swamp to explore. The headquarters requested all branches have to participate, so my cell also participates in it. Sowol nodded. It is indeed an interesting story, but unfortunately I am not interested in this. If there are more interesting stories there, please continue to tell me, maybe I will become interested. Xiao Bing suddenly remembered something. Yes, there is another story. I hear said Mountain White sect is looking for the missing master, right? Sowol nodded. That's right, we still haven't found the whereabouts of the two monks who have been wandering around outside. It seems like the vice leader has received some intelligence. Xiao Bing sighed. That's right, I also feel very sorry. After all, the Dr. Duang Quang Ky is missing. I don't have the opportunity to listen, but recently I have indeed received an intelligence. Sowol's face has begun to I'm a little interested. Can you tell me any intelligence? Xiao Bing quickly explained. I heard that not long ago there was a monk named Duang Quang Ky who entered the poisonous swamp. From his outfit, it can be seen that he is very similar to Master Gong, one of the Mountain White sect. You don't want to cooperate with me to go in there and look for the master, and tell him about the sect's situation by the way? Sowol shook his head and sighed. If this is his own opinion, then I don't have to specifically go in and listen. Xiao Bing laughed. Really? You made me exaggerate again. If this matter is completed, I will provide you with a diary recorded by a doctor from another continent. Of course, this is just a copy. It's just a copy, it's not the original. Sowol heard about the diary of a doctor from another continent and was certainly interested. After thinking for a moment, he spoke up. You took out the notebook. Said, I feel insecure about you. You tell me what you want to do in Poisonous Swamp first. What is the price? Xiao Bing stood up and wanted to leave. Okay, our meaning has been made clear. As for the details, I will send someone to convey the news later. Conveniently bring a part of the content in the copy to the public. 2. When that time comes, you can check the authenticity yourself. Sowol looked at her back and silently thought, what treasure did you of Poisonous Swamp have, and yet you let a deputy master of Bao Xin sect must be so impatient. Even though I'm a bit skeptical, because of that record I can only agree with her, it seems I need to prepare well to enter that poisonous swamp. A few days later at the Yi family's manor, Sowol landed from the air and warmly greeted the people below. Haven't seen Miss Yi in a long time. Yi Moonbi immediately came out to greet him and welcome him. I'm back. I heard that you have become an official honorary elder of the Mountain White sect. I really congratulate you. Sowol smiled. Thank you. But Miss Yi seems to have also ascended to the heavenly state. It's mid-term. Yi Moonbi nodded excitedly. This is all thanks to Sowol's blessing. Young master, please go inside. Father and the head of the family are waiting for you in the living room. Sowol then went inside to sit and drink tea. After a while Mok Yom came over. Sowol was so happy to see her. Is sister still okay? Mok Yom smiled and walked up to him. He was still fine. We hadn't seen each other for a while and his cultivation level had already risen to the Yang Light stage. I really didn't expect junior brother to be able to rise to the Yang Light stage in such a short time. It's so short, Sowol sighed. As expected, there is nothing that can escape the eyes of senior sister. I heard that senior sister is also trying her best to practice, right? Mok Yom shook his head. No, thanks to your blessing, I have finally reached the 10-star level. Sowol was surprised. You now also have the strength of a warrior of the 10-star level. Is it post-production? That's right, senior sister. How is Miss Yi? I see that she seems to have something in mind. The homeowner did not mention this matter. Mok Yom sighed. Are you talking about her? As soon as I mentioned this matter, I felt that junior brother was really pitiful. How should this matter be better? When Sowol heard that, his face was filled with confusion. Huh? Do you feel pitiful? What happened in the end? After a while he asked in doubt, are you pitiful? Mok Yom turned his head and snorted coldly, not knowing if he should say this or not. Sowol felt extremely uncomfortable and hurriedly asked, what exactly happened? Mok Yom hesitantly asked again, about this, aren't you and Miss Yi married? I may have lost my wife. Sowol opened her mouth wide, wondering what the hell, what do you mean? Mok Yom didn't have to wait any longer and quickly explained, like this, Miss Yi and young Master Seo fell in love as soon as they met. After a long time of growing feelings, they finally got together. Young Master Seo was very hard-faced and persevered. He was rejected by the master of the house several times, but in the end he succeeded. After hearing this, Sowol felt helpless and didn't know what to say. Mok Yom walked up to him and smiled. Laughed sarcastically, is junior brother's momentum too great? Even though you guys are married people, you still have some feelings, right? Sowol shook his head. No, I just feel that this is a bit sudden. It seems I have to go congratulate this new couple. Mok Yom's eyes widened when he heard that. Junior brother, maybe are you not jealous at all? Sowol shook his head. Let's talk about this later. I have more important things to tell you. After listening to Sowol's explanation, Mok Yom was surprised. Poisonous swamp? Sowol nodded. That's right. That's a place with dense aura near Jung Province Station. That place is extremely dangerous to enter and it's difficult to come out alive. Mok Yom seriously said, if the monk I want to go there, then you will also go to Poisonous Swamp. Sowol was startled and loudly stopped. Sister, the poison in Poisonous Swamp is too dangerous for you. Mok Yom didn't care and replied, so what? Are you going in too? Sowol sighed. After all, I am now a monk of the Yongquang period. The level of danger I encounter will be much smaller, but for a monk of the same age as you, it is very dangerous. Mok Yom still hasn't given up, but I can't let you go alone to that dangerous place. We go in together, at least we can still take care of each other, and you also need a lot of medicinal pills to break through. Go up to the ocean. There are probably a lot of rare spiritual herbs and spiritual stones. Sowol silently pondered, what should I do? Senior sister seemed very determined this time. After a while he told her, Senior sister, this time it was something related to the Mountain White sect. Mok Yom still wanted to say something, but the words weren't there yet. As soon as I could get out of my mouth, I was interrupted by Sowol. I also really want to take senior sister with me, but I can't let you interfere in my sect's affairs, so please forgive me. Mok Yom, she bowed her head sadly and did not answer. After a while she turned her head and sighed. I know that junior brother is now an honorary elder of the Mountain White sect. Okay, if it is related to the sect, then I can't follow. After all, now is not the time in Iron Protector sect. Sowol secretly sighed in his heart. There is no way. This matter has something to do with Xiao Bing. Who knows, wondering if something unexpected will happen on the way. There may be many dangerous situations. It will not be safe for senior sister to go there. Thinking for a moment, he smiled and said, talking about Iron Protector sect reminds me of a lot of memories. It's been a while since I competed with senior sister. I just found out that I have a new move that I want to show you. Mok Yom was a little excited when he heard that. Come back, compete? Okay, just like that. I also want to test the strength of the hero Duan Quang Ky. Competing with junior brother is really something that can't even be asked for. Sometime later at the entrance of Poisonous Swamp, here at a group of people gathered here. A middle-aged man led the explanation. This is the entrance to the Poisonous Swamp. Everyone has seen it. This place is full of poisonous mist. There are very few safe places. Tone. The poisonous mist at the entrance is insignificant to the masters of the Yongquang Ky, but to the monks of the NKY it may have an impact, so I will give an antidote to everyone. The person before him, Sowol, was also standing in the crowd. He looked at the middle-aged man and thought to himself, this person is a member of Bao Xin sect. It's best for me to hide my identity as Duan Quang Ky, let alone him. I was sent by Xiao Bing, and I can't reveal my identity. In his mind, he remembered the conversation the night before departing. Xiao Bing smiled. Has it already happened? A little introduction. This person is Chu Jaising, a member of this clan. He is an expert in using poison, has rich experience in Poisonous Swamp and has extremely superior detoxification ability. This time he will help everyone. Man, he will be in charge of leading everyone into the Poisonous Swamp. Sowol looked at the papers in her hand and thought, even though she had the memoir notes from Miss Beck Ran. But what is her real intention? While Sowol was absent-minded, someone came up behind him and patted his shoulder. Oh, who is this? Sowol was startled and turned around to look. The person coming was Ma Jae-ju. He smiled at him and said, isn't this the young hero Sowol who made me famous overnight in Yan'an department? I didn't expect you to come here too. Now I have more confidence. Sowol smiled. Me too. With senior accompanying me, I'm more confident. Just what wind blew senior to poisonous this swamp? Ma Jae-ju pointed to the old man behind him and explained, I am now an anonymous magician, because Trung brother introduced me here. The old man smiled, hee, even though I am a palace man. Worship of the Iron Rock sect, but if I compete with you, I don't know if I can win or not. Ma brother, are you still thinking about that competition? Ma Jae-ju laughed loudly. Ha, Trung brother, why did you say these words? It's all in the past. The old man laughed. That's good. In short, this time is absolutely perfect for us. This is a great opportunity. Deputy gang leader Xiao Bing is a person who specializes in buying and selling intelligence, so he takes honor and prestige very seriously. She has already agreed with us. As long as we do this well, we can do it. Receive a very rich spirit stone reward. Moreover, in addition to the two of us, there are also 2 other young light period wizards. The safety level has also been doubled. Unso will hear that, then turned his head to follow his gaze and looked over. Ma Jae-ju exclaimed in doubt. His name is Yom Jang, right? There are no eyebrows or beard on the face. It seems that the monk is practicing special Yang Tenshin Kung Fu. Maybe the hair and beard on his body have been burned by the fire. Unsowol observes the other person secretly analyzing. Watching, turns out he's really a mysterious doctor. He doesn't say that he's basically incomprehensible. Then you quickly go forward. I'll go get some antidote. After a while, old man Trung stepped forward and shouted, I'm paving the way in front. You guys should stay close behind me. I recommend everyone to search ahead. Take whatever spirit herbs and demonic beasts you come across. It's everyone's will. What kind of person? The crowd replied in unison, just as the senior said. Ma Jae-ju, walking shoulder to shoulder with Unsowol, exclaimed, Your level of yin and cold kung fu is very high. Unsowol glanced at him. I smiled. My senior praised me too much. Ma Jae-ju continued to praise. His swordsmanship is also great. His actual combat experience is also very high. Unsowol smiled. It's okay. If senior really comes out, I already couldn't keep this small life with my hands. Ma Jae-ju laughed loudly. Haha, the young man knows how to talk. Thank you very much. Unsowol explained. I didn't lie, senior. At this moment, a strange sound rang out ahead, attracting the attention of the crowd. An old man in the team had been poisoned on one finger. Chu Jae-sing saw this and quickly ran over. Quickly, let me see. The old man looked at his purple finger and was scared. It's my hand, my hand. Chu Jae-sing glanced behind and reminded. It seemed like he'd touched poisonous grass. Okay, see those red leaves? That's the thorny grass. At first glance it looks very normal, but it's actually a poisonous grass. Luckily, I brought the antidote. Unsowol walked in front of the thorny grass plants and looked at it, thinking, there's something there. This poisonous grass is so dangerous. But it seems to me that there is no danger at all, just pick it first and think about it later. Ma Jae-ju still goes near him. I saw him picking poisonous grass with his bare hands and was surprised. It's so strange. Why is there nothing wrong with him? Unsowol smiled and explained, my body's resistance to poison is quite good, so it's okay. Besides, I'm quite knowledgeable about poisonous grass. Ma Jae-ju was surprised. So what? I thought it was all thanks to Chu Jae-sing. Now that I have you, I can reduce a few things. Unsowol smiled helplessly. My senior thinks too highly of me. He squinted his eyes. Glancing at the group of people in the group, he silently analyzed. There were 15 white clouds plus 3 sun rays. The fog was so thick, if you wanted to know who suddenly disappeared, it would take a lot of effort. The group walked for a while and went their separate ways. Their faces all darkened. They could all feel something approaching here. The crowd suddenly stopped and stood still. No one dared to move rashly. Very soon, hidden in the fog, a few red dots began to appear. The red dots became more and more and hundreds of them quickly appeared. Even though the old man saw this, he didn't know what it was, but he was still extremely nervous and shouted loudly. Everyone quickly gathered together and prepared to fight. Ma Jae-ju's face was also tense. They're coming. Unsowol didn't say a word from beginning to end, but looking at his face, you could clearly see the tension. The crowd quickly saw clearly what those red dots were. They were a group of people. The demons living inside the poisonous swamp. A few handsome-looking wizards behind him shouted in fear, "What is that, Senior Lieutenant?" The number was too much. Tens of thousands of demon insects quickly approached the crowd. The two of Ma Jae-ju were terrified when they saw such a terrible number of demons. Sowol behind him, he quickly took out his shield. The group of heroic-looking soldiers behind him were also shouting loudly, "Whether to fight or run, quickly give your opinion, seniors." The middle elder turned his head decisively. Shouted, "Quickly retreat." Everyone gathered together and retreated. The group didn't say much after that and quickly each stepped on their flying weapons and ran away. The old man ran away while running away. Thinking silently, monsters normally like to attack in groups, but with the scale just now, it's too exaggerated. If they don't fight well, the entire army will definitely be destroyed. What? How is this possible? Right? I didn't expect them to fly so fast. He quickly flew to Ma Jae-ju's side and said, "Brother Ma, it seems that fighting is unavoidable, I will have to rely on you later." Next, Mr. I glanced back and asked, "Chu Jaesing, have you ever seen a demonic insect formation like this before?" Chu Jaesing shook his head. "No, if I had seen it, I probably wouldn't still be alive today." Running for a while longer, there was no way to cut off the demon insect, so Trung had no choice but to grit his teeth. "Stop. There's no way, the demon insect is about to chase." The heroic doctor retreats to the second line, "Brother Ma and Brother Yom follow me." Although we don't know the situation of the demon insect, but with experience for many years, I thought that insects would definitely be afraid of fire. Those who know the art of yang should use the fire skill. Others should use spiritual talismans to conduct saturation attacks. Ma brother. Yom brother, are you two ready yet? Sowol behind him also quickly activated the flame magic. After a moment, waiting for the demon insect to approach, the old man shouted loudly, all attacking at the same time. The three monks of the Yang Kwang Ky at the front line, they simultaneously unleashed true fire samadhi. The demon insects were indeed afraid of fire. As soon as they collided with the fire, they were immediately burned, but there were too many of them. Fighting forever but still unable to end the war. Sowol felt extremely doubtful. After throwing out so many bullets, there were still so many of these insects. Sowol looked at the demons. The insects clinging to the protective spiritual light screen were startled. It turned out to be golden-toothed locusts. It is said that these insects can eat any living thing, even iron and steel will not be spared. Not good. If you continue to prolong the spiritual energy light curtain, it will definitely be neutralized by them. If it continues, it won't work. Thinking of this, he immediately raised his hand and cast a cold bang. The group of demon insects that were hit by the cold ice immediately flew away, not daring to land on the light curtain anymore. Sowol saw this and breathed a little. It seemed like they could only temporarily disperse, they would come again soon. Just why is golden-toothed locust speed so fast? They shouldn't have been able to catch up with the heroic monk. At this moment, the monks behind shouted loudly, "Senior Trung, Senior Ma, come and save us, please save our lives. We have reached the limit." Ma Jae-ju and the others are also surrounded by demon insects at this time, and they are worried that they won't have time to go save them. Sowol looked at the group of monks looking like the hero behind him was about to be attacked by a demon insect that broke through the protective spiritual light screen. His heart was extremely tense, not good. If this continued, the monk with the appearance of NKY would all die here. He quickly took it out. A few flags. Then he flew straight to the ground. He landed at the center of the flags and sighed. He really wanted to be alone, but if he kept going like that he wouldn't be able to get the records back. That's sad. Moreover, this is the first level. If I surrender right now, it's not my style. Imaginary element formation spell. Sowol cast the spell while shouting loudly, "Everyone, did you hear what I said? If you follow my voice like that, you still have a chance to live." When the crowd heard that, they rushed towards Sowol without hesitation. This old man rushed closer to Sowol when the curtain lit up. Cracks began to appear in the protection. At this moment, Sowol, in the formation, reached out and grabbed his shirt, pulling him in. Pulling him in, he explained, "Don't be nervous, sir. Can remove the protective aura light curtain, you can just wait here for me." Having finished speaking, he immediately flew out of the formation. The old man looked at his back and shouted sincerely, "Thank you. Saved me." Sowol just like that brought the formation to call for help for the remaining wizards. After a while, many people entered the formation. Ma Ju and the two of them had also entered inside at this time. Was this formation arranged by you? Thank you very much. Not only do you have profound morals, I didn't expect that your skills in formations would be so outstanding. Unso humbly shook his head. It's not just a little low skill. Unso looked at the group of healers in the distance and secretly sighed. I see that the healers of the Yang Luang Ky are all okay. It's just a pity that there are only 9 of the healers left. I didn't expect this place to be so dangerous. So, while Unso was lost in thought, Elder Trung came and patted him on the shoulder. I know you are a talented magician. Moreover, you always do something that makes people admire you. Really thank you. I will have to ask you more in the future. Unso clasped his hands and smiled, obeying the senior's orders. The middle elder then angrily shouted behind him, Chu Jaesing, you are telling the truth. Go. How long have you been in Poisonous Swamp? Chu Jaesing bowed his head. About 3 months later, Elder Trung asked again, have you never encountered such a dangerous thing before? Chu Jaesing sighed, that's right, this is the first time I've encountered something like this. The old man covered his face and sighed, it's so troublesome, I know you should go aside and rest later. I have something to call you later. Ma Ju walked up to him and asked, Senior brother Poisonous Swamp, shall we continue going in? The middle-aged man replied tensely, it was really awkward to feel something wrong. Ma Ju asked again, I have never worked with Vice President Xiao Bing. Dare to ask if we give up in the middle of the fight, is there something wrong? Unsatisfactory? The old man sighed, if she was just an ordinary vice captain, I wouldn't have to be so hesitant. Having said this, he immediately leaned into Ma Ju's ear and whispered, in fact, Xiao Bing is the main character. Is the daughter of gang leader Bao Xin sect. Unso was close to the two of them so he could hear these words. He was also startled in his heart. Vice leader Xiao Bing is the daughter of the gang leader. Bao Xin sect? No wonder she's already a vice president at such a young age. Ma Ju woke up after hearing this, so that's the case, Trung elder sighed, so he can't easily give up. Xiao Bing really hates people who mess up, she does everything very seriously and meticulously. Suddenly he turned his head to look outside the formation. Look at the golden-toothed locusts flying away, this formation is really effective. Chu Jaesing, aren't you a member of Bao Xin sect? I have something to clarify with you. Chu Jaesing nodded. Okay, just say it. The old man quickly said it, please go back and tell her, if something like this happens again, I will immediately leave Poisonous Swamp. I think the vice master is also you understand, Chu Jaesing nodded. I remember and asked the senior to rest assured. Unso watched from the side, silently thinking in his heart. Yom Jiang and Chu Jaesing were sent by Xiao Bing. It's better to be a little more careful. After a while of waiting for everyone to completely recover their spiritual energy, the old man stopped growing and continued to explore Poisonous Swamp. If anyone wants to leave now, just do it. I absolutely won't stop you, but if you leave, you have to find your own way back. There will be no one to guide you. Okay, does anyone want to leave? When the crowd heard that, their faces were silent and no one spoke. The old man reassured, everyone, don't worry, if something like that happens again, Brother Ma and I will immediately stop our duties. This time, we leave the Poisonous Swamp again. If no one leaves, then please continue to act with us. The crowd replied in unison, please listen to our seniors. The crowd was like so they continued to go deeper into the Poisonous Swamp. A few days later, they did not encounter any more major dangers. They hunted and killed monsters to collect spiritual herbs. The old man went to pick up taking out the inner pill of a monster that had just been killed by Ma Ju, he exclaimed. It's really not worth it to spend so much effort and only get this little thing. Ma Ju nodded and took it back. At first, Trung brother was right. Trung elder put away his internal pills and sighed, it seems there is no other way. Only by attacking the central area of Poisonous Swamp can you get good loot. Unsowol on the other hand agreed, it is true that we have been here for more than a month, during this time 2 more heroic warriors have died. Currently there are only less than 10 people left. Even though I secretly collected a lot of spiritual herbs and poisonous herbs, this collection is really not worth much, and I also couldn't find the Poisonous Swamp people that Xiao Bing talked about, the clues are not real. It's boring. At this moment, Chu Jae walked up behind him and asked, "Are you bored?" Sowol glanced at him suspiciously and asked, "Bored? It's already very difficult to protect one's life in this dangerous place. Where do we have the time to be sad and bored?" Chu Jae smiled. "Our vice master has already said that. Before meeting them, there was nothing here that could threaten Mr. Sowol. I heard that you are not an ordinary magician. Other heroic knights cannot compete with you at all." Sowol sighed. "Did you hear what Deputy Xiaobing said? Did she say too much? Why are you suddenly praising me like that? Tell me, what exactly do you want to say?" Chu Jae smiled. "You probably know that because of this poisonous swamp mission, the headquarters and the branches all sent people to do their best. In fact, this time it was aimed at the descendants of a certain family. The descendants of a certain family. The descendants of Secret Text Valley are the people in this poisonous swamp. This is our real goal." Sowol secretly thought in his heart, "Why are your hands so black? This really makes people lose their minds." Chu Jae continued to explain, "They disappeared a long time ago. It can be said to have disappeared without a trace." Sowol nodded. "Is that so? If he disappeared without a trace, how would you know?" Chu Jae shook his head. "You don't need to know much. If it's really necessary, the vice master will automatically tell you. Even though I'm just an unknown pawn, I still know a lot. Tell you a little bit. The central main force sent by the main group arrived here a month ago." Sowol heard that and his eyes widened in surprise. "Did he come here a month ago? Why are you telling me now?" Chu Jae laughed. "Haha, you probably understand a little now, right? Actually, we are not the main force." Sowol is extremely worried. What is this all about? If it's true what he said, then the possibility of me getting the memory notes is very low. After a while you spoke up and said, "If this is the certain truth, Senior Trung and Senior Ma will very angry. You guys actually used this kind of trick to force them." Chu Jae smiled. "Forced them? Maybe that's the case. But what if they know the truth? Since the two of them are not members of the Iron Rock sect, do they still want the same treatment as before? Now they are just wandering warriors with some strength. No matter what their opinions are, they do not dare to confront Bao Xin sect." Sowol asked again, "You said these things to me all because Vice President Xiao Bing gave you instructions?" Chu Jae replied calmly, "Yes." Sowol's eyes narrowed. "Okay, then can you lead the way to find those descendants?" Chu Jae smiled. "As long as the young master agrees, he can go at any time." A moment later, Chu Jae walked up to Elder Trung. Elder Trung doubtedly turned his head to look at him and asked, "Why?" "Then what happened?" Chu Jae explained, "Although the fog here is still very thick, I am quite familiar with the route from here. I think I can find the correct direction." The old man stroked his chin thoughtfully. "You say now you lead the way?" Chu Jae nodded. "Yes, if you're lucky you might be able to find a clue." The old man nodded. "This is really good news. Okay, then you should lead the way." The group then followed Chu Jae and continued moving forward. Sowol walked and thought, leaning on the ice. Huyan Kuei remembers the way to go, but it's much more convenient to have Chu Jae leading the way. But it's strange, the fog is so dense. Chu Jae doesn't feel scared at all. He seems very familiar. "Belongs to this road." After a while, the old man exclaimed incense. "Oh ho, finally out of the foggy area. The path ahead is clear." The remaining people all went their separate ways. They're all excited, out of the fog, finally out of the fog. The old man instructed the crowd, "Everyone can finally breathe. Everyone take a rest. After resting and recovering we will continue to explore." Sowol secretly thought in his heart, I don't have time to rest. But I just realized that I can take advantage of this time to go explore on my own. Thinking of this, he immediately turned around and wanted to quietly go into the forest. But as soon as he turned around, Ma Jae-ju came over and asked, "Where are you going?" Sowol was startled and turned around to look at him and replied, "I want to go around and investigate a bit." Ma Jae-ju smiled, "I also want to go with you, is that okay?" Sowol hesitated for a moment then reluctantly nodded, "Okay." Ma Jae-ju sighed, "You don't look very happy, then leave it alone, I won't bother you. Also, I'm just thinking about you. Even though your abilities are very strong, don't forget that this is poisonous swamp." Sowol nodded. His junior remembered to thank his senior. After speaking, he quickly walked into the forest. After walking for a while, he stopped and looked left and right to check the situation. No feeling the magician's aura, then stay here. Next he flew up into the air. Acting alone was really comfortable. He quickly took out the needle of wisdom, start looking for the treasure. The needle of wisdom is pointing to the west. It's probably okay to use the flying machine to move here. I see the aura there is quite strong. There is a strong aura in the poisonous swamp. So strong, perhaps proving that its toxicity is extremely toxic. But why do I smell something so fragrant? It turned out to be a chrysanthemum. This flower is very beautiful, but because its toxicity is extremely high, it causes the surrounding ground to crack. My luck is really good, just arrived having discovered such a rare poisonous plant. Unso just reached out his hand to pluck the poisonous plant. Suddenly his eyes narrowed and glanced back. There was movement. He turned his head to look. Made him even more surprised. What is this that turns out to be a deer? Instead of just a deer eating grass, Unso immediately stopped paying attention to it and quickly turned around to continue cutting poisonous herbs. I should still concentrate on collecting poisonous herbs. Each branch is extremely toxic. It's extremely strong. I have to be careful to pick it, otherwise I'll waste the toxins inside it. Very quickly Unso uprooted both the roots of the poisonous herb. Only then did he glance back in suspicion. Thought, it's strange that this place is poisonous swamp. Why are there such ordinary beasts? Huh? Where is the deer? Just now it was clearly standing on the other side. While Unso was lost and didn't know where the deer had run to, it suddenly appeared next to him. Then, using extremely fast speed, he grabbed the poisonous herb in his hand and ran away.